So I just showed you a video where I had a sort of a longer solution to solve this, right? We're binning, sort of doing a tax lookup. But there is actually an easier way to do it. If you look at this formula and this gives you a headache, there is something not quite as, dynamic and cool, but we could definitely do something to make this a little bit easier. So let's go in here. We're going to insert a column, and then we're going to do this. We still have to match that D value. So we would still need to go in here and say, well, let's do a match. You know what? We'll do the match. Why not? We'll do it right here. We're going to say match the D, and we're going to say in this range, lock it in a 0 for exact match. Now, that means the 4 means 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're simply going to do an index and say, okay, of all these potential values, I want to get the fourth one. Click this, F4, we lock it. We get this, and we drag it all the way down. So now you see these values are the same as the ones over here. And then we'll just go like this, and we'll just ignore that. So it is always pulling the fourth value from the current row if we look like this. Now we can do a very simple formula, believe it or not, just a VLOOKUP. And we can say, look for this value, do a comma, and we're going to look for it in this little range here, lock it with F4. We want to say our answer is in the second column. So this is the first column, column A. Column B has our answer. This is our final answer. And we want to do another comma and say true. When I press enter, there is the 4000. The formatting is different. Let's just use the format painter. But that is the exact same answer. So this does require a little helper table, but it is much easier to just look at this and say, okay, I know what this is doing. I'm looking for the D in that range. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's the D. If we change this to a C, then that will be a 3. And instead of these values, we get these guys right here are over there. All right, so let's change this back to a D. Now, there is another way to do it, which is the fancy array formula. All right, if you love array formula. So let's look at this and say, all right, what have we got here? We're going to do a test. Here's our test. If these values across the top equal the letter D, we know we're only going to find one match. So that's going to say false, 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 true, and false. So we go like this, we highlight it, we press the F9 key. There it is. False, 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 true, and false. This D is the true. Undo. Press the undo button there. And then we have a second if statement to say, and if these values, which is this grid, this box over here with the purple, if it's less than K12, which is our 50,000, so this is our first, these are our second logical test. By the way, we could actually take this and change it into a more common way to write an array formula by putting brackets. You have to change the syntax. I've done so many of these, thousands and thousands. I can change this on the fly. So if this condition is true, which is right in here, and that asterisk means and this is true, then we want to come in here and get the values from here. Now, really, I guess we should lock these as a best practice, right? Lock all this stuff like this. So if this condition's true and this condition's true, get the row numbers. That's what's going in our array formula. If it's false, the false means give us nothing. So out of all those, let's just do this. Out of all those values, we want to get, we're saying the max value. Let me just show you what's in the array. We go like this. We press the F9 key. We see all of these numbers in here. What we care about is the largest number, right? The largest number that meets our condition. So I'm going to press undo, top left, and that's these row numbers. So our second condition, which is in this block area, of all those that are less than K12, we want the one that is the furthest down. That's what this does. This is if all these are true, going across this way. So then if all those are true, so really we're only looking for, I guess it would be the 10, a 10 which would be in here. So that's the biggest number. That feeds into the max. So we get our 10 here. And now what are we doing? So the final thing is just to put an index around the array and say, okay, out of these guys, I want to get, I almost made a mistake here. This thing is giving us row numbers. I can't just highlight from 4 all the way down. So I have to go, there's different ways to adjust it, but it's really late where I am here in Toronto or just outside of Toronto. I'm going to highlight this, press the F4 key, and at the end I put my bracket, Control Shift Enter. So that's how you can solve it with an array formula. So we look back here, we have 4,000, 4,000, and we have the same thing here. Two more ways to do it.